Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's time for the Aftermath show. It has finished West Ham United 1, Crystal Palace 1 at the London Stadium on Wednesday evening. Overall thoughts on that game are mixed for some reason. I thought that West Ham had a really shocking first half. It looked very reminiscent of the Newcastle game on the opening day of the season, but the second half picked up a little bit, especially after West Ham equalised. But I suppose at the end of the day, it's a fair point. It's a point gained against a strong opposition and a London rival. I'm going to get into the game, talk about the team lineup, both halves, and some players who impressed me. There was one change to the team that won against Leeds United, and that was that Issa Diop came in for Fabian Balbuena. Balbuena picked up a slight injury, according to X, but either way, if Balbuena was being rested just for the sake of being rested so that Diop could play, I was all for that. Because Diop could help deal with some of Palace's crosses, given that they are a team with a lot of offensive front. They like to put a lot of crosses into the box, especially with the likes of Eze and Zaha whipping them in. Diop's height and heading ability could have helped out in that department. Benrahma started in the centre midfield again. Haller was a lone striker, and like I say, it was pretty much the same team that started against Leeds United. The thing with the first half that got me the most was the fact that Palace were given a lot of space by West Ham, and no West Ham players were going into Palace at all. Palace created chances. They were exploiting space, particularly in our midfield. Our midfield, Souček and Rice, they were getting exploited quite a lot in that first half. A lot of the battles were being won in that midfield. Palace got the ball forward and had a few chances. That was a bit worrying to see, and West Ham did look very flat. Another thing that I noticed was that Sebastien Haller barely had a touch in that first half. Can anyone else remember him touching the ball? I don't. I don't know where he was at all. And then when they finally mentioned his name on the commentary, I was like, oh, he's playing. But that's how distant Sebastien Haller was. Having said that, West Ham were no better themselves when they had the ball. I mean, Bowen and Benrahma did make a few good runs and put in a few balls, but no one was on the end of them. There was that one chance, I believe, that came into the box and Haller didn't even get on the end of it. Haller doesn't get to balls. He just waits for them to come to him. And that is not a good sign. That's not proactive enough for me. Palace played a little bit of possession football from time to time just to mess with West Ham and do a little bit of mind games. And eventually Palace's persistence paid off and they took the lead thanks to Christian Benteke. Joel Ward puts in the cross. Benteke gets down low but gets his head on the ball, gets it past Fabianski, and it's 1-0 Palace. Couldn't even say I was surprised at that point. It was coming. Palace were all over us. And even in the lead up to that goal, Issa Diop should have tackled the midfielder to get the ball back. Diop's missed tackle was partly to blame for that. But Joel Ward got the ball in, Benteke got the head on it, 1-0 Palace. And I was saying at this point, West Ham are going to be lucky to go into this break not 2-0 down. We're lucky it was just 1-0. Because 2-0 would have been obviously game over. By half time I was saying that the midfield wasn't working very well. That front three were not connecting at all. Haller in particular wasn't doing anything. I mean, he wasn't getting on the end of any balls. He wasn't existent. I've said that earlier on this video. He wasn't doing anything. At half time I wanted to see some changes, or at the very least Moyes to give the ball a screaming. At half-time, David Moyes made a substitution. He took off Pablo Fornals and he put on Manuel Lanzini because I think Lanzini's pace and energy counteracted Palace's pace and energy. We had quite a good attacking front. Palace had a little bit better attacking front. We needed to balance the books out there. And I think that's why Lanzini came on. And I will admit this right now. Lanzini, in my opinion, he had a very decent second half. He made a lot of runs. He made a lot of chances to create and he didn't really put a foot wrong. Lanzini put in a little bit of a shift. A lot of people might disagree with that, but I personally think from what I was watching, Lanzini was doing what he could to change the game. I did notice in the second half that West Ham did have a lot more movement about them, a lot more crosses coming in. Cresswell fired a free kick over. Bowen was making some good runs as well. He had an excellent game. And so did Vladimir Coufal. And, okay, Vladimir Coufal, excellent performance today because he was the man behind the equalising goal. Coufal does the running work, manages to beat the players, gets the cross into the box. Sebastien Haller, overhead kick, was never in any doubt. It's going in the top corner, and that was Haller's goal. that was a bit of a different second half from him, because the first half he was not even there, and the second half, smacks it into the top corner with the scissor kick. Beautiful goal, but I'll just say this right now to Haller. It was like Andy Carroll's 3 years ago, but Andy Carroll's is a lot better. No offence, but it is. Anyway, equaliser was really good for West Ham. They looked a little bit more energetic, a little bit more confident. Things are looking pretty okay at this point because West Ham had the ball more. Souček gets a special shout out in the second half because he was defensively very good. Not necessarily as an attacking midfielder, but as defender, he was good. Particularly in the final third. Ogbonna was particularly good as well. I thought that our midfield was good with Declan Rice there. He made a lot of key interceptions and a lot of key runs. Lanzini again tried to get onto the edge of a ball, but it was just a little bit too far and the Palace keeper got to it. Lanzini had a decent second half. I can't slate him. And Coufal was outstanding today. He was man of the match because of the way he defended in the first half and the way that he got the assist in the second half. And in my opinion, Coufal plays better as a right back than a right wing back. It's just his fundamental defensive position which he can add a little bit of attack to. Palace ended up getting a red card after Christian Benteke went from hero to zero, if you could say that. He got a second yellow card for going into a duel with Thomas Souček and apparently elbowing Souček in the face. There was contact in front of the face. Didn't really get a good look of it though, but Palace were down to 10 men and they'd lost a striker. And I knew what this meant at this point. It meant Jordan Ayew's going to end up coming on. And he did. Ayew scored in his last few games against us. He scored last season at London Stadium. He scored at Sellers Park last season. I was thinking, is this going to be 3 in a row? And that was in the back of my mind. Ayew didn't really do a hell of a lot from what I saw. We kept him quiet. I said in a preview, Ayew had to be kept quiet if we were to get something out of this, because he's a goal scorer. Very late on in the second half, in stoppage time, Declan Rice came very close, but his effort just went over the crossbar. It finished 1-1. It was a good second half from West Ham, but the first half could have been make or break. We could have given away 2 or 3 goals in that first half, just by bad defending, bad marking, and open spaces. And I'm not sure whether it really is going to be lucky to get the point, but it's a point gained, especially since we have Chelsea next, and that's not an easy team to play against, on paper. So the draw is a decent result, especially since it's in a derby game, and it's against a team that knows how to attack and knows how to score goals. Because Palace aren't mugs. Okay, they're not mugs. They've had some big wins this season. I said that in my preview as well. But to get a point at home, and for Haller to score that goal, and for Coufal to put in a massive shift, is really satisfying. Thank you very much for watching the Aftermath show. I might throw a little from the Anvil questionnaire in over the weekend, given that West Ham don't play until Monday, and of course I will be doing the opposition uncovered for the Chelsea game. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, take care for now, I'll see you all soon.